Nihilism and alcohol. Y'all, I lived most of my life nihilistic, just temporal, just, yeah, man, live for the moment, live for the day, you know. Yeah, you don't know if tomorrow's promised to you. Just YOLO or whatever they say. And that I think that advice is good for someone that is such an anxious planner. I'm gonna call them someone that has that fallacy of control. They want to control stuff, and they constantly plan. And when something goes astray, they freak out. I know people like that. That might be good advice once in a while for them, but for us people that were nihilistic, telling us, reinforcing that, and it's already reinforced in media and pop culture and obviously the arts and everything. It's not helpful. It's absolutely detrimental to us. And I do not like reinforcing negative behavior, and I've done it my whole life to myself. And what reason would I, in my beautiful nihilism, want to stop drinking? Why? The world is a dark place. It's a dangerous place. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's out for themselves. Um, all that stuff. So of course, when you think in that way, you're not going to have any incentive except maybe I want to look healthier or be healthier. But I have not met many true nihilists that gave a crap about that. I have met none actually that cared about that. And we all have pseudo nihilism. No one fully, as the saying goes, there's no atheist in a foxhole. I 100% believe that. I know I've seen people that were just didn't believe in anything, that Jay was just almost Satanist, and I've seen them get pulled or been in the car with them and they said, please God. You know, when it comes down to it and you got nothing else, and you I guess you entertain the thought of maybe there is a God. If there is, help me. So getting that out of the way, like the AA stuff, they say believe in, at first it was the Christian base, and then they kind of helped out, like believe in what you be to be a higher power, and that's good. You need something, that the higher power, something, because if not, you're going to be nihilistic, right? And God, nihilism and drinking, they go hand in hand, man. They really feel us, because again, who wants to practice delayed gratification? When it's there, it's everywhere, right? And so, one thing I would say to anyone struggling with alcohol is, of course, seek help if you need clinical help, if you need medical help, absolutely. But check your heart and understand, like, man, if you don't, the whole saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, is what are your standards? What do you believe in? Like, what greater purpose do you believe in than yourself and your own self-destruction? If you even can get that far, and if you can't, I encourage you try to pray, seek guidance. However, even if you don't believe, it's not like it could hurt you. No one has to know about it, but it's we're feeling our own demise in many aspects, and it's really, really, it's a hard struggle out there as it is. And of course, we want to escape. Of course, we want to drink. Of course, it's bad. I could tell you everything that's bad, but if you have that referable standard to good, to what you believe is good, or even goals, or anything like that of such, you gotta have the balance. You gotta have the goals and do that, but you can't be fanatical about anything, because I've seen a lot of people, so many people in recovery, they got overzealous about something, the big one. They'd start feeling healthy and start getting into shape, getting really excessive, because people talk about the ones that eat a lot. That happens too. But I'd see people get really excessive with exercise and fanatical about it. And it's inherently good. But once they had to defer from that routine or were injured, they would go back to the old familiar nihilistic. I would call it nihilistic escapism, because I'm talking about alcohol. That was my problem. But it could be drugs, it could be relationships, whatever. Because I mean, I know those feelings. You all know them here, my fellow alcoholics and drug addicts alike and hookers and all that, is that, man, when we make that decision, even if we don't fight, as soon as we start whatever mind altering thing, it's like that we're oblivious. No, no, not oblivious. We become oblivious, but there's a tranquility there that we can't forget about, that a euphoric feeling of not giving, you know, is not caring. It's just like, yeah, I don't care. You've been at that point. You're like, I don't care. You're just not scared. I don't care if this person hates me, wants to beat me up. I don't care if I'm going to get kicked out. I don't care if this, and that when you're doing it. But then when that stuff comes, you do care. It's just, it the arrested development that occurs from alcohol is absolutely devastating. And for someone like me, I started drinking. I mean, the first time I drank was like, I was actually a late bloomer. It was like, I think 14. And I used to drink brandy in my grandma's cupboard and mix it with milk and thought she would notice, and she did. But it just put me to sleep. And I like that feeling. I've never slept good my whole life. And I grew up in a household that didn't have sleep. Like, sleep wasn't optional because my parents were drug addicts and they'd stay up at night and sleep all day. So that put me in bad habits. But I realistically didn't start drinking. I went through some juvenile corrections, came out for about 4 months, and kind of started heavily drinking, even though it wasn't. I was getting drunk. That's why I'm calling it heavy drinking. I was a lighter weight, and then got locked up back again. But then, basically, from age 18 on to realistically almost 41, like with a few exceptional breaks, forced breaks, rehab, relationships, all that, whatever. And none of that worked. It didn't work. I always reverted back to that nihilistic thing because I tried to do it myself. And I encourage my brothers and sisters, don't do that. Don't do that. You may have the will and ability. I doubt it. And if you do, all the power to you. Don't encourage anyone else to do it because not everyone's different. My my recovery is completely different than everyone else's, and it, just like yours is. I won't work my way. There's a reference. That's what I was talking about earlier. The inclination, the standard, the reference that we all thank God for AA and other recovery groups, cognitive behavioral therapy, for us to be conscious and understanding, present of what's going on, what our condition is. But that doesn't mean it cures us. It just, we go on. We work it and hopefully succeed. Those numbers are sometimes not very motivating, but hey, one day at a time, right? But if I understood, I didn't understand how traumatic, I didn't process how traumatic, because of my chaotic life, my childhood truly was. I You take the ACE test, and it's the only test, the, what is it, the adverse childhood experience. And I got 100% easily. And that's like the only time in the world you do not want to get 100% on a score. And you, you don't realize how much that childhood trauma affects you. And so years, all these years, I'm still probably, I have unresolved trauma. Was, it was an arrested spiritual, emotional development. Like, I've rested because drinking, you cannot grow. I mean, anyone that goes to the gym will tell you, you can't physically, you're not going to grow to your fullest just drinking, even no matter how hard you work out with steroids. And that is true. But we don't think about, emotionally, spiritually, if that's your thing or whatever, is it absolutely delays us. And I just, why I bring up that, like I said, that nihilism, that nihilistic relationship, because you can be a spiritual person, you can be a God-fearing person, but I never known anyone that's just getting drunk and hallelujah to the Lord, or getting drunk and doing any benevolence work. I never known it. Or really doing anything good. You know, they may be nice, buy people drinks, and even give a homeless guy money, but like alcohol, we all know it is a very self-indulgent, self-absorbed thing to do. You don't you don't get drunk for other people. You don't get drunk. You may say you get drunk because for anxiety or to take the pressure off, but you're not getting drunk to take the pressure off them. You're getting drunk to take the pressure off you. So it's all you. It's all selfish, really. And I know this video is kind of everywhere, but I'm gonna start making more of these alcohol videos because it's something I'm very ashamed of. Something I'm it's hard for me to talk about, but if it could help some of us, you, me, even, then it's good. It's a good thing, right? Just if you have anything you want to achieve, young people, old people, middle-aged people, whatever your gender, anything is, if you have anything you want to achieve, whether that's trauma healing, whether that's in the arts, whether that's relationship, whether that's in the corporate world, whatever it may be, I 100% without a doubt, I don't ever say anything that I'm not sure about. 100% without a doubt, I'll tell you that alcohol or drugs, but alcohol, what I'm talking about, will either get you there way later and sloppier than it needs to be, or not at all. It has hindered, I can't even think of how many opportunities, how many friendships, how many partnerships or whatever I've missed out on because of alcohol, because of my selfishness. I would be a recluse drunk, you know, not even a giddity drunk, go and meet people. I just, no. And even when you think about all the times when I was younger and I drank, met people, where the hell? I don't have one friend, one girlfriend, anybody that I ever met in a social drinking environment. And if you do, that's cool. I would like to hear about it, but it's not a very common thing. I would never want to have kids and say, "Yeah, where'd you meet your mom?" "Oh, I met your mom at a bar. We were both looking to score." You know. But anyway, y'all, you know, find your sin lest your sin find you. Like, get let's get this under control. You know, like really, let's understand this meaning, this feeling of wanting to be oblivious and ignoring stuff is not good. And we just need to find some inclination and work on it. Okay, y'all? All right, later.